A very warm welcome to all the viewers of Parvasi TV. Today we have with us Mr. Gurpratap Singh Toor, who is standing for the Regional Councillor of Brampton, Ward number 9 and 10. A very warm welcome to Parvasi TV, Gurpratap.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you to the team at Parvasi for having me here.
So now that you're running for the Regional Councillor, why don't you tell us a little about your political background and how did you enter into politics?
Sure. The first time I ventured into Canadian politics here was in 2014. I was a volunteer at the Linda Jeffrey campaign when she was running to be the mayor of the city, and she was successful. So in 2014, when she became the mayor, I was hired in the mayor's office as the special assistant to the mayor. That was the best opportunity, I would say, because I got to work at City Hall directly for 4 years in the mayor's office, dealing with residents. I was the point of contact between residents and the mayor's office, especially when residents faced issues. So let's say, residents faced an issue and they contacted their councillor. If the councillor wasn't able to find a solution, it would come to our office and I would deal with it. Or if they couldn't actually even get contact with their councillor and it got escalated to a point where we had to intervene, I would again have to deal with those issues. So those 4 years, I got to work with every single city division, every department at City Hall, and understand how the City Hall functions, how it works, the different roles and responsibilities of the councillor, of the mayor, of the city in general, all the services that we provide, but most importantly, the potential we have as a city, that if we really did put in good, hard work in there, we would get a lot in return. So that was my 4 years at City Hall, working directly with residents. Past that, we've always been involved in different campaigns, political campaigns at a federal level, at a provincial level, or at a municipal level, even in different parts of the country, where I got to travel and help out on campaigns of some of my friends. So whenever the political opportunity came to be part of that, it is something we truly enjoy. Myself, my friends that I surround with, we enjoy campaigns like this that are at a grassroots level where we get to talk to people.
Right. So from running campaigns for candidates to now being a candidate yourself and standing for the regional councillor, how are you using those learnings of being a volunteer to now running as a candidate?
It's definitely a very different experience. Being a candidate myself, first of all, on that note, I just want to say there's a lot of new candidates running for the first time in the city of Brampton. I understand how difficult it is to put your own name forward. You're putting your name in public sphere where people are going to judge you by your actions, by your words. You're going to have positive feedback, you're going to have negative feedback. So good job and good luck to everybody that has signed up to run in this race. But I do believe that all the political campaign experience that I've gained over the last few years definitely is helping me right now on the ground, because when my campaign team wants me to be the ideal candidate, I've dealt with all kinds of candidates. I know what it's going to take to be the best candidate for my team, not just for the public, but for my team to work with. So when my team says, here's our ideas, here's what we're going to do on the ground, I have full faith in them, I have full trust in them, and we have a plan and we follow that plan. Because of that, we were able to knock the entire wards 9 and 10 within 1 month. In 1 month's period, we were able to go across the entire area that we're running in, be on every single street, knock on every single door, and we were able to accomplish that because of the team and because of our experience being on campaigns, talking to thousands of people directly, face to face. My phone number has been public for so long that every single day I'm so lucky when I have tens of residents calling me, telling me they're going to support, what more could they do. Volunteers are coming into our office where we've created a campaign office culture that is fun, that is enjoyable for volunteers. That's how we got involved in campaigns. Every day we're lucky we have about 80 to 90 volunteers every single day. I don't think, outside of the mayor's race, I don't think there's any other campaign in the city that's running at the same scale.
So as you mentioned that you have been door knocking and you have been talking to the Bramptonians, so what are the issues that they are putting forth?
Number one issue, hands down at every single door, is crime. Crime, the rising crime and the lack of safety in our city, it's on everybody's mind. It has come to a point where some of the doors people are afraid to answer. They would look through the window, make sure it's safe to open the door. We've run into doors where people have told us their car has been stolen off their driveway. 3 days ago, I was at a door where The person at the door was afraid to answer, but once I showed them my flyer, they could see my face, they opened the door, and I asked them why they were hesitant. There seemed to be an extra layer of hesitance there. She herself 3 days ago was standing on her own driveway waiting for the school bus to drop off her granddaughter. She was waiting for her granddaughter. She got her chain stolen on her own driveway. So we run into so many of these homes where they've faced a criminal incident, they've contacted the police, they've been on hold for a long time, spoken to the police. Either police never showed up to their house, or police asked them that next day they can come into the division, file a report. So number one issue that we see in the news all the time, you guys cover it as well on social media as well, we do see is the rising crime, and the biggest hurdle to this state of fear that's there in our city. From the residents, what we get to hear is that there's a lack of leadership on this. They don't feel like their representatives are talking enough about crime. They're not providing solutions. They're not bringing that to the table. So residents don't feel safe and they don't know where to go.
Yeah. And what are the key issues that you are focusing on? And if elected, if I ask you what would be the 3 key issues that you would be focusing on and working towards, those would be?
So the issues that we're going to work on is what we hear from the residents directly. That is the whole point of us knocking the ward, speaking with residents directly, because I can have my own ideas based on the life I live, but it's going to be very different from someone who has kids, someone who's sending their kids to school, for seniors who are in retirement. Everybody has their own different issues. So when we hear those things at the doors, we get to understand which are the top priorities. So like I said, number 1 is crime and safety. Number 2, people feel like they pay high property taxes, but they don't feel like they get the equal amount of service they need from the city. So there's a gap in the amount of money that we're spending from our pocket, giving it to City Hall, but in return, the amount of services that we're getting. So that gap needs to be addressed. And the third biggest thing, I think, is the accountability and transparency at City Hall. So, we get to hear that at every door that council, the previous council, like the current council, has been in division. There's been a lot of infighting. There's a lot of meetings that don't happen because council doesn't show up. The agenda doesn't move forward. There's lawsuits back and forth. There's court cases back and forth. There's a lot of accusations of money being mishandled at City Hall. So when we as residents hear these stories, we don't know where our taxpayer dollars are being spent. There's that lack of transparency, and residents do believe that they're not able to hold their current council accountable because they're not even able to get a hold of them or speak with them directly, find out who's speaking the truth, because there's stories on both sides, but nobody understands what is the true picture at City Hall, what is actually going on in there. So I do believe that we will focus on that once I get in there, to bring a clear picture out for the residents, explain it to them that here's your taxpayer dollars, here's what's been going on with them, here's the current state of the city and how we're going to move forward.
So, this is what you're planning to do with the residents or the voters that would be electing you. Now, as you mentioned, there has been a lot of ruckus going on in the City Hall and there are accusations. So, what are your plans on, I would say, working with your fellow regional councillors as well?
Yeah, it's a fair question, and that's the question I get asked at the door. When people ask me, why should I vote for you? How do I know that you're going to get along with the councillors and how are you going to work with them? My answer is always the same. So, you have 10 councillors and 1 mayor. That's 11 people sitting at a table. You're going to have 11 different ideas, 11 different, items for discussion, for debate, which is healthy. That's how a democracy works. When you have everyone coming from a different experience in their life, or different educational background, or different voices from their residents in different parts of the city, you will have all these diverse opinions at the table. It's good to have that debate. It's good to have that discussion. But at the end of the day, when you keep your residents at the forefront in your mind, when you wake up, go to City Hall, you know who paid for your dinner last night. It was your taxpayer dollars that paid for that at my table. I would go to City Hall and know that I have to work for my residents. So we can have the different debates, we can have different ideas and discussions, but at the end of it, you have to come to the best solution that works for your residents the best. You put their interest first. You cannot put your own political interest. If I'm in there thinking, what am I going to do in 4 years? Am I going to run for mayor? Am I going to become an MP? Am I going to become an MPP? Then I'm going to think about my political interests and I'm going to head that direction. But if I'm thinking about my residents every single day, I'm going to think, what am I going to do today at City Hall that is going to make your life better in our city? Are my residents going to feel happier, healthier, or safer? These three are the primary responsibilities of your local government. If they can ensure that you improve on these three sides, I've done my job.
Yeah, and recently we've also seen a lot of, as you mentioned, the crime is on a rise in Brampton, and we have seen incidents where international students have been attacked in a way or the other that somewhere or the other they are bringing chaos to the city of Brampton. But at the same time, we also have students who are hardworking and who are genuinely working towards their goals. So when you classify the whole student community under one tag of being criminals or being chaotic in the city, I think it somewhere brings down the morals of the students who are actually working towards their goals. So what do you have to say about the rising attacks on international students?
So I've got the chance to work firsthand with students, especially international students. I volunteer with this organization called Khalsa Aid. We do a lot of work with student bodies and international students that are facing difficult times. So I get to speak with a lot of them. I do have friends that are also international students. When it's not fair to put everybody under the same umbrella. When we look at issues, incidents that happen, if you look at statistics and you talk to Peel Police, you will still see most of the crime happens from people that are from here, that are Canadians. Majority of the crime. The very small minority of the crime that does happen from foreigners, it gets highlighted a lot, right? People will throw these accusations and say, blame it on international students. But we forget when international students stepped up during COVID, they kept our shops running, they kept our gas stations running, our Tim Hortons. Every single convenience store that you went, you saw a student working. You saw them driving trucks. You saw them working in the factories. They did all the jobs that nobody else was ready to do at the time of the pandemic. They kept the economy in Ontario, in fact in all of Canada, they kept the economy running. They're a big part of the economy. They do get, I would say in some form, get abused by the system, but they're still going through the system and they're still finding their ways through it. The best example is the most recent one, when you see the hurricane that came in Nova Scotia. Yes. You saw the premier in Nova Scotia even share a video where international students that go to this university and college are preparing meals as part of Langar. They're providing that to the entire community in Nova Scotia, in that town, in that city. They're doing that voluntarily. They're not doing that with the hopes of someone's going to provide them residency here or someone's going to give them a medal. They're doing that because they feel their sense of community. So, what they lack is that sense of community in our city. And I think it is time that we figure out ways that we can better integrate them into the Canadian society, find better solutions for them, provide them newcomer services when they come to Canada, provide them the resources that helps them to fight for their own rights, to stand up for their own rights. A lot of them get abused by landlords, by workers. There's grassroots organizations that are coming up talking about this. But I do believe there's a lack in effort from all levels of government, municipal, provincial, and federal, on this issue. And if they can sit down at the table and find better solutions to make their life easier, especially if the people that are contributing so much to our economy here, I do believe it is our responsibility to take care of them.
Yeah. Any final message that you would like to give to the voters who are going to be voting on 24th October?
Yeah, to all the viewers and all the listeners at Parvasi, I just want to say thank you that you're paying attention. If you're watching this video, you're clearly paying attention to the municipal election that's happening. It is a very important time to get out there, cast your vote, because the council that you choose, the mayor and the council that you choose this time, won't just impact you for the next 4 years. Any decision this next council makes will impact you for tens of years from now. So it is very important to make sure you, your family, and your friends get out there, vote, choose the best representative for you that can be a good voice for you at City Hall, that can work as hard as you do. You never took a single day off during the pandemic. The community of Brampton, the people of Brampton are its best asset. They've gone to work every single day. You deserve a council that shows up to work, that goes to work every single day, fights as hard as they can for you. So don't wait till October 24th. October 24th is going to be Diwali, is going to be Bandi Chhor Divas. A lot of you are going to be celebrating with your families, you're going to be worshiping, you're going to be amongst your friends. You may not get the time to vote. You have a lot of opportunities in advance. Please go and vote from October 7th, 8th, 9th, October 14th, and October 15th. You have 5 days for advance voting where you can go vote. If you would like more information about advance voting, if you want to ask me any questions or you have any ideas to share, you can always contact me directly. I believe every resident should be in direct contact with their councillor. So please give me a phone call at any time or shoot me a text. My phone number is 647-460-4085, and I would be happy to chat with you, come at your doorstep and hear your ideas and concerns.
That was it for a conversation with Mr. Gurpratap Singh Toor, who's standing for the Regional Councillor of Ward number 9 and 10 Brampton. See you again in the next interaction.